as that work. Just a cover video, yeah.
Okay, ready? You can start.
I will do it.
Okay, so in church, the bass player had to hold down the drums and everything else, and so this is how I had to learn, because they would look at you crazy if you wasn't holding it down. So it's called a bass drummer. I'm the bass drummer.
Wayman Tisdale is one of the great college players to ever play the game. I always said that if he had played 4 years at Oklahoma, he would have wound up being governor of Oklahoma.
I heard about this guy, you know, Wayman Tisdale. But he was like dynamic on the block.
Probably one of the best college players to play the game. I enjoy being around him because we're gonna have fun no matter what.
You had this kid, Wayman Tisdale, coming up and making a brand for Oklahoma basketball.
I've decided to make myself available for the NBA draft.
Jay drives, misses, Tisdale rebounds, scores! Wayman no whiz, gets the offensive rebound and scores. San Antonio wants it.
Wayman always had kind of an inclination toward music.
It was a big secret who the artist was. I said, who? And he said, Wayman Tisdale.
He got an acoustic guitar and just started playing it, and he can do it. No lessons, he just can do it.
I guess that's just his gift, to play a guitar.
I can hear Charles now. Turn it down, Tiz. You're too loud.
As a human, you always want to know, okay, what kind of legacy can I leave?
So everyone needs a little something an example to go by, don't you think?
I think for Wayman Tisdale, because music was his first love, and he never made a secret of that, he could play basketball.
Now looks to Tisdale for the jam.
So when it came time to discover music again professionally, I think it was for him, at least, not so much, hey guys, come with me as I try something new. It was, hey guys, this is my first love. This is really who I am. If you like me on the basketball court, wait till you see me on the concert stage.
Oh, it's such a lovely night to be here tonight. I'm so happy to be back in Memphis. This is my second home, y'all know that, right? Can we play y'all some old songs and some new songs and some you haven't heard yet, huh?
Music is, to me, because it penetrates, it comes from within. It takes you places where people can't, because it penetrates from within. And so that's why when they ask me what's more gratifying, music or basketball, I tell them music, because music is from within and it comes from a different place that I can't even explain.
I like for them to remember me that I was always smiling. I was very personal, and I like to be loved. I think if I had to live it all over again, I wouldn't change anything.
You know, I tell everybody we're going through small things, and when you go through something like this, man, come on, man. There's too many other things that you can worry about.
You're in mental warfare, man. It's the test of wills. Are you gonna let it get you, or am I gonna get it?
Standing low on the left side. Turns, gives about a 15-footer, won't get it in. Wayman Tisdale!
Every day it hits you. It's like, you know, it's not a dream.
But this lets you know that it can happen to anybody.
Give it up for Mr. Wayman Tisdale!
It just shows you how quick life can change. Life can change in a boom. February '07, typical night, you know, nice LA night. I had been having some knee pains, but just thinking it was just some little tendonitis. That's why I said I waited till I was 42 years old to get tendonitis, you know.
I remember like it was yesterday. I was pretty much just 2:30 in the morning going to get my wife some water.
Because I heard this, and I was thinking he did not fall.
After I fell down the steps because of the leg had just broke.
I jump out of the bed and I go running, and I'm yelling Wayman, and he's yelling Regina at the same time. And when I get there, he's just sitting on the step. Get up, get up. When he goes to get up, he yells.
It just seemed like somebody took a baseball bat and just, boom, hard as they could.
When we were in the emergency room, in my gut, I felt like something was wrong. Something was major wrong. I've never seen anything take this big man of mine down.
Got to the hospital, and when I woke up out of the surgery, because they just set the leg back, the leg had broke completely in half.
We knew something was strange because I'm thinking, this guy has been playing basketball since he was 6th, 7th grade, 8th grade. How do you walk down this, just walking and your leg breaks?
Just little did I know what was really going on.
The fall didn't really bother us at first. You know, okay, you broke your leg.
And the next day when I went to him, it was just something about his demeanor and all that maybe the doctors had come in and said something to him that he decided not to tell me.
They saw something immediately. You know, they saw a cyst or something in the bone.
So the fall was kind of a blessing in hindsight that we didn't realize. It was the fall that revealed the tumor.
And then the test started.
And so literally we were waiting. I mean, they did 2 or 3 biopsies that was inconclusive. And so at this point, I'm saying, you know, I asked the doctor, I said, what are you looking for? And that's when the doctor said, well, we think it's probably cancer. And of course, it just kind of took the wind out of me.
But we didn't know the tumor was, whether it was cancerous or what, because it took the doctors 8 weeks to even give any information.
You're sitting around waiting for a diagnosis, and that's the worst feeling in the world.
So it was a trying time. It was a very testing time. But it's also a time where we, you know, fell back again on our faith. David writes, have mercy on me, O God.
We are people of faith. We talked about it, and we prayed about it, and we decided that we weren't going to lose him.
I finally realized while the praying was going up for me since I was a little kid, it was for this time to get me through what I was about to go through.
growing up as a preacher's kid is tough, but it wasn't tough for us. You know, we honored, we cherished it because my father was so cool.
My father gets a call from a church here in Oklahoma, a small country town actually, and asked him if he would be interested in coming to pastor that church.
We were moving from a city where we owned a home. We had land. My father had a good job. All of our family was there. To come and do what my father said at the time was the work of the Lord.
Yes.
He was my idol. I didn't look up to anybody. Sports figures, musicians, I looked up to my dad. He influenced me to pretty much love everybody and to take everybody, to treat everybody the same. We didn't experience a lot of the racial tensions, a lot of the things that a lot of people would expect that a person growing up in Tulsa would experience. Maybe we missed the last part of it, even though it was here big time. We would always fellowship. You know, a black church would go to a white church on the white side of town after, you know, the sun goes down. That was unheard of.
I kind of learned people from watching my father, having to make people happy when there wasn't much to make people happy about.
Wayman was the baby boy. He kind of wrapped up all the other 5 of us into one. He had the humor, the knowledge, the talent.
My brothers used to have to make me play basketball.
Wayman was one who enjoyed basketball at his leisure. When it was convenient for him, great. But what was convenient for him and what was convenient for us were two different sides of the coin.
So many influences around you. You know, your older brothers into sports, your mother and father into the church, and they're in the choir singing.
I would always continue to play, but Wayman at some point in time during the game,
he would just quit.
They would have to make me deviate from my music. When something's your first love, it doesn't matter. You're gonna always gravitate back to it.
He would listen to the radio at night, at WLAC out of Nashville, Tennessee, and just the sound of the strings was music to his ears.
No lesson, not a lesson. I can't tell you a note. I can't tell you any kind of theory behind what I'm playing.
But I can hear it. I can hear it, and I can play it verbatim.
My father told me at an early age that he told me I was gifted. And when you're gifted, you're not going to understand. It's something that's been given to you, and you take it and you enhance that. I'm from Tulsa, Oklahoma, y'all. Where funk began. I happened to go to a school by the name of Booker T. Washington High School. Y'all familiar with that school?
First time I saw Wayman, he was an 8th grader, and his brothers had been talking about him. They had a brother that was going to be a tall kid. He was 6'4" at that time, and William and Weldon both said that they thought he would be good.
I began to see him develop into a ball player probably after his 7th grade, 8th grade year.
When we first covered him back when he was an 8th grader, I mean, not even really high school yet. And you're just, again, struck by how big this young kid was.
I was pretty awkward. I was clumsy. You wouldn't believe the type of player that I wasn't. Basketball became my primary focus after failing really bad. I was playing for a coach that really didn't like me. I didn't really give me a fair chance, so I wasn't gonna work hard. I wasn't gonna do the things that I know I should have been working on, even if I wasn't getting a chance to play. And I remember the feeling of saying that I'd never feel like that again in my life. I don't think I felt like that again. I immediately put myself to work, went straight into developing my skills, working double hard, working extra hard, working on my shot, working on my moves.
It put a tenacity into my game that if you came near me, if you played against me, you would know that you had a fight that night. From sitting on the bench in the 8th grade to becoming the #1 player in America by my senior year in high school.
We had coaches coming from all over the country. And it was really interesting that he never boasted about what he did, because I think that he was so modest in what he was doing.
To be a teenager and have 200, 250 schools recruiting you on a nightly basis, it was madness.
First time I heard about Wayman Tisdale was when I took the job at the University of Oklahoma.
We were pretty known in the sports world around here. The Tisdale brothers were pretty known. Well, really known.
When people tell you about a player, everybody's a great player, and it doesn't always turn out to be that way. But in this particular case, it turned out to be the player of all players. We had recruited William Tisdale the year before, so we had William on our team, and he was the player in charge of recruiting Wayman.
Oklahoma was kind of a place that we could see ourselves growing at. I remember my father telling us, if you want to bloom, he said, grow where the ground is fertile, but it's not a lot of plants there.
In year one, we had not inherited a very good team, so we were going to build a program. But you could only build programs if you had guys like Wayman Tisdale to build them with.
My father told me one thing, that he said, if you're a good player, you're going to get the press, no matter wherever you go.
I've now decided to further my education at the University of Oklahoma.
I felt that for me, if I went to Oklahoma, that it would start, it could be the start of something big, and it was.
It wasn't until he came home over the holiday that they had ran some tests and discovered that he had cancer. The very first thing that happened to me is that fear came over my life.
He had a form of sarcoma, which is a type of bone cancer. Normally this happens in younger children, teenagers, not in older adults at his age.
You're not expecting to hear the C word of anything. I'm thinking, okay, I have to do a couple of things. They got to maybe go in and operate, get it out. You're not hearing, 8 weeks of chemo and sickness.
My prayers were, after I had experienced cancer on 2 different occasions, I had asked the Lord, take it away from him and give it to me, because I could stand it better than him. So, anyway, it's a hard thing to explain, to see your child, in that condition.
We were gonna do whatever it took to get him through this. We decided we're gonna do the chemo part. We're gonna do whatever it takes.
It was days that I could barely get out of bed. I mean, I would spend weeks in bed in a fetal position. And for anybody who knows Wayman Tisdale, that is not me. I'm the life of the party. I'm the one that starts it. I'm the one that usually shuts it down. For the first time in a long time, the music stopped. I didn't have the music, didn't have the drive to even go into the studio because I didn't know what was going on with me. "10 weeks that I was just literally just sicker than a dog. And at the end of that period, for the doctors to tell me it's not working.
They decided, let's do another round of chemo. Yeah.
That was tough. I'm like, well, wait a minute. Why am I so sick and I've done all of what you asked me to, and at the end of the day, it's not working? That's a lonely feeling. And then for them to tell you, you have to amputate your leg. Now, how do you gear up for that?
Here in Tulsa, there's this park, Riverside. People are biking and riding, and one day we were driving down, and I noticed him looking out the window. And he said to me, he said, man, I took that for granted. I'm not gonna be able just to run like that anymore.
We've learned Wayman Tisdale is recovering after having a portion of his right leg surgically amputated.
Right after he had the amputation of his leg, I couldn't tell he just went through this traumatic, change in his life.
He was a champ through the whole thing. I couldn't believe it, and I told him, I said, babe, I always knew that I had a really strong man. I said, but now I really know that I have a strong man.
I was like, you know what? I realized that I was still Wayman Tisdale when I woke up, I said, hey, I'm still the same person. Just got a little less limb. But I said, you got my leg, but you can't get my spirit.
Here's what you might get just 20 years ago. Wooden socket, metal joints, wooden knee, foam foot. So we've taken an incredible step forward in prosthetics certainly in the last 50 years.
I was brought on the pre-surgical consult. He was basically a long above-knee amputee. So if you looked at your knees as you're sitting there, it was about 4 inches up from the center of his knee. So we had to replace a knee and foot. He looks like about a 15. Usually when someone comes to us, they're downhearted, they're not emotionally available, they're sort of shut off, because everyone through their whole process has sort of been the bad guy.
Wow, I can walk again.
He never really hit a point where most people go through feeling like, oh, my life is over. He's like, this is just a roadblock, man. I'm going forward. I'm moving on. And I'm like, if you could just bottle some of that positive attitude, it's amazing.
You have to be strong mentally. You have to be strong mentally.
There you go. See, you gotta watch that. You gotta watch that toe.
My doctors told me that I was probably one of the most mentally strong people they've seen. I mean, 2 days after my leg was amputated, on the 3rd day I was going home. So that's the kind of person I am.
Wayman has been more of encouragement at times to us than we have to him, just because of his nature and his personality.
I think his faith and his family upbringing from his father, obviously being a reverend, all shines through, and you got to have that faith to lean on, and that when you see him smile, and he still leans on it today.
It's all right, it's okay. Don't worry, he'll make a way.
Well, you thought I was big at the University of Oklahoma. This is nothing. You wait till you see what's going on now.
Boomer, sooner. Yeah.
It's the only thing that could go on my leg, buddy. It's what's in my heart. That's all. It's what's in my heart, baby.
Hey, y'all ready to hang?
I looked at going out and playing basketball like a show. I'm like, oh man, this is a show. I got a show tonight.
Always new surprises in Big 8 basketball. Doesn't seem to bother Wayman, though. I'll tell you, he just loves to play.
His game was probably innovative in the sense that he played very well with his back to the basket. Very tough to defend. very quick release, and had a lot of ways of scoring, which made him, probably one of the best college players to play the game.
I'm looking around the country, so I was used to even seeing and really hearing Patrick Ewing's name. Then there's Michael Jordan. But I'm telling you, Wayman, he just took it to and had it at a different level. Next thing I know, I heard Wayman score 61 points. And I mean, I wanted to retire. You know, I'm like, this guy, he is awesome.
Oklahoma at the time was a football school.
He basically set basketball on course.
Oklahoma basketball got put on the national map through hard work, one, but we had to play twice as hard as a normal national university like a Georgetown or North Carolina. People were following us, driving cars from all parts of the state of Oklahoma to come watch us play.
I recall what that set across the state, the example that gave for players coming up, even down in elementary school. They saw what Wayman Tisdale had done.
I enjoy going out and playing and try to give the crowd 100% every time I go out. I feel that's the way the game should be played.
He's one of the great all-time college basketball players, but I can promise you this, there was never as popular a player with the fans as Wayman Tisdale.
I'm serious about what I'm doing. It may look like I'm playing out there, but I'm having fun, and I think that's what I want the fans to perceive me as, just a kid that's out there, loves to play and wants to play.
Oklahoma, they have a lot to be grateful for and a lot to be thankful for, and honestly, it starts with Wayman Tisdale.
If he had played 4 years at Oklahoma, he would have wound up being governor of Oklahoma in his late career. Had he ever really decided to go into politics, he could have held the highest office in the land.
Has it been difficult being Wayman Tisdale these past 3 years?
You know, I really brought it up on myself, though, because of accomplishing so much at an early stage in my career that I averaged so many points early, so people stereotype me as, Wayman should go out and score 30 points every game. So it's put a lot of pressure on me, but I like pressure.
I've learned to work through some tough situations. One of the toughest situations I learned to work through was my days with Bobby Knight in the '84 Olympic team. I mean, he put the heat on us.
The players who were all collegiate at that time, and I remember trying out for the team, and I didn't even make it.
I felt that the most challenges came from within the team and from within what Coach Knight, challenged us with.
Alford, Ewing, and Robertson, Jordan, and Perkins, with, of course, Ewing, Perkins, and Jordan playing along the front line.
You have to just think about the magnitude of players that was there.
Bobby Knight set the tone for everybody, and he got everybody's attention. With Wayman, he would always pick on Wayman.
Tisdale was one of those situations where, he came in with the reputation of being a heck of a scorer and a good rebounder. And Coach Knight tried to expand his game, if you want to say. And Coach Knight was pretty tough on him.
I was the #1 scorer in the country at the time. Bobby Knight told me, I don't want you to score. I don't want you to shoot a ball. I don't want you to shoot a shot.
Coach Knight wanted him to set more screens, be more of a rebounder, defensive threat.
They expect me every time they see me to be smiling. It didn't get hard, but sometimes, even the happiest people have a time in their life that they just don't smile at times.
You have an icon like Bobby Knight, who was nationally and internationally known as a coach, coming down on you. Allow Wayman to see, well, why is he so hard on me?
It's the rim.
What that showed me was what type of warrior I was.
The final score, the United States 96 and Spain 65. The U.S. has its 9th gold medal.
May 4th, 1985 will go down as a sad day in the history of OU basketball.
You have made my decision very difficult, but after long, careful, prayerful consideration,
I have decided to make myself available for the NBA draft.
Ladies and gentlemen, going number 1 to the New York Knicks would be Patrick Ewing. And number 2 would be Wayman Tisdale to the Indiana Pacers. That was just probably the biggest day of my life. I remember everybody was like, we got Wayman, we got Wayman.
At the other forward, 6'7", 240 from Oklahoma, number 23, Wayman Tisdale.
He was a rebuilding tool for them. They felt like they can build around him. He was somewhat, they considered to be a franchise player.
Now they have hope. Now they have inspiration. In their words, now they have their savior coming in the name of Wayman Tisdale.
And Tisdale gets 2 foul shots.
I got literally baptized into the league.
Here's Fleming. There's another offensive rebound. This time it's Tisdale with a turnaround shot.
Night in and night out, I had to guard the best scorers because playing the 3 position in the NBA at that time, your best scorers were always the 3 position.
Worthy and slam dunks it.
My first game was against Dominique Wilkins.
Atlanta is alive in this game. I don't want to beat a falling horse or beat a falling. Tisdale up top. Dominique steals. Dominique on the drive, and he jams.
Larry Bird.
This guy, so hard before every game, take the ball to the hole. And he has been doing it, and with confidence. And Bird, the man that made the call's name, Garrettson. That's right, Ron Garrettson. Father, Daryl Garrettson.
He had to change his game. He had to change his mentality. So now he had to become a face-up player and learn how to also now face the basket. It wasn't easy.
There was pressure on you. When you go number 2, people expect you to bring a championship to their city.
He had to deal with the pressures of trying to, carry a load of a franchise.
Okay, this guy's gonna come in, he's gonna bring us 30 points a night. He's gonna fill the seats. Season ticket holders are gonna come back.
Coming through the lane. Wayman Tisdale.
Wayman's got it going tonight.
You're trying to rebound, you're trying to shoot, you're trying to get guys motivated who really just are there to collect a paycheck.
He was the greatest player in Big 8 history, and he brought national attention to our state like no other hoopster since.
Indiana there was nothing going on.
Problem was the club was lousy, and the fans couldn't understand why the wonder kid from Oklahoma wasn't making it happen.
Your NBA career is defined by what team you wind up with and the players that are around you.
After 4 difficult years, Wayman was traded to Sacramento. But his new team wasn't any better than his old one, and the losing continued.
That's the type of series that differentiates great teams from mediocre teams.
Well, Tisdale shows his offensive skills, has 14, he averages 20 on the year.
It just didn't, all the other pieces didn't blend well together, but, obviously he had to deal with a lot of different pressure than I did.
It's been very frustrating for me, especially after the finals this year. I saw Michael and all my other ex-teammates on the ground crying and the thrill of victory, and, I really miss that. I really miss that. I need a fix.
NBA championship.
When life tries to get you down, it's the perfect time for a rebound. It's my turn. Let's take it to another level.
Manning cutting in, but holds the ball. Barkley waiting. Now looks for Tisdale for the check.
When I finally got to Phoenix, I was like, man, finally I'm in the NBA. We'd get home at 2 or 3 in the morning after winning the big game and have 500 people waiting on you for autographs. And we took our time and we signed autograph people.
3-point land tonight. And to Tisdale, there's another one of those moves. He hasn't shot the ball twice the same way here tonight. Here's Tisdale.
If he missed a shot, if he dunked on someone, whatever it was, he was smiling going back down court.
To this day, I didn't know if he ever had a problem because he was always smiling.
Tisdale with that big smile has 19 points in the ball game. Tisdale getting the job done.
I'd never seen Raymond not smile. You know, that was just like he never had a bad day.
In life, Wayman had a go-to smile. He was never too high and he was never too low. You find an organization that really had kids attached to it, Wayman was going to be all over it. He tried to provide and wanted to provide, with Nancy Reagan's help, really bringing some positive hope, inspiration back into their lives.
I love to be around the game of basketball. I love it. I played it for 12 years in the NBA, and now to give it back to young kids, it's very important that I do that.
You couldn't tell me I wasn't the baddest thing on the earth when that's my senior or junior prom.
Wow.
Well, I was happy, wasn't
I met Wayman at church, and I saw this guy playing the bass.
Well, April 17th, 1981. And yeah, it was love at first sight, I guess you could say.
I saw him playing music before I saw him with basketball.
My father brought a guitar home, and I think he may have brought us all one. Wayman was the only one that actually took time to start playing his. There was something about that one instance that it just captured his attention.
Broke all the strings, of course, you know, being rough with it, and except for two. And when you only have two strings, you can only play bass lines, and that's what I started doing, playing bass lines and learn how to play, man. And that's how I've literally taught myself off of two strings how to play bass.
But growing up in Tulsa, Oklahoma, you know, finding a left-handed guitar is difficult. Finding a left-handed bass guitar is 5 times as difficult. So what Wayman did, he just did this. He just turned a regular guitar, regular bass guitar, upside down. And everything he learned to play was upside down.
I always had music, even though it took a back seat for a while. But I always had music, I always played, I always did my thing. And after I'd get off the court, I'd go back and play, just sit down and just play. And just play by myself.
It got me through the death of my father. It got me through many nights on losing teams. It showed me that there was a brighter day, even though there was going to be some dark days.
Kevin Johnson looks at Tisdale. Norman against Tisdale. Back to Kevin Johnson. 8 seconds on the Phoenix shot clock. To Tisdale again. Tisdale turns with the left hand and scores. Baseline 12-footer. And Atlanta will take it.
A lot of NBA players, a lot of professional athletes, period, their biggest worry is what is life going to be like after I leave this spotlight? After I stop smelling the popcorn and after the cheers are gone away, who am I?
Missed free throws killed Phoenix.
You have disappointments. Mainly, we didn't win the championship. I went to Phoenix to win the championship, and therefore it didn't work out.
And the Houston Rockets are going back to the Western Conference Final. For the second straight year, the Rockets have knocked off the Phoenix Suns coming from behind.
He was very dedicated in being a complete person, and basketball didn't engulf his whole life.
Here's the plan. You know my man understand. My boy's got a ball in his hand. He's an NBA player. Make no mistake, I'll lighten up the board with the funky dope maneuver.
So I'm gonna write some songs one day. I'm gonna learn how to play the bass guitar because one of his favorite bands, favorite persons were Marcus Miller.
Well, Marcus Miller was a huge influence on Wayman, had an incredible influence on Wayman as a musician and also as a person in their relationship. You hang out with Marcus Miller, you're hanging out with one of the best in the world, you know.
Around 95, which was probably 8 to 10 years after we met, you know, he sent me a tape. He said, listen, man, I'm making a record, you know. And I said, oh, that's cute. He's going to make a little demo record to hand to his teammates or something like that.
I said, you know what? God has given me this talent as well. And there's no way I should drop that talent
I should actually pick it up and try to make something out of it. I said, well, maybe I could put together a demo and maybe I could sell a few CDs out the trunk of my car and make some money, pay the band, and keep a band around, you know.
I realized, oh, this guy is serious, you know, and he was, you know, there's still certain things that he didn't know. You know, you could tell, oh, okay, he didn't know that you don't have to do it that way. So you go. And it falls very natural because you're thumping. Right, and you pop. Wayman did it all opposite, so I can't even tell you how he figured it out.
Going home to practice my other livelihood. Bass, baby. Motown was handed my demo.
It was a big secret who the artist was. And I said, wow, this is really good. And I was really impressed.
They wouldn't tell him who it was. No way.
And I think it was either by the second or third song, he says, you want to know who this is? You won't believe it. And I said, who? Wayman Tisdale. I was like, oh, wow. Yeah, I've heard of him.
He's a basketball player. Listen at him. He just played on TV last night. And 2 weeks later, I was signed as an artist. Have not been unsigned since then.
We were going to have to overcome skepticism. NBA players who've tried their hands behind the microphone. Wayman was a guy who was legitimate.
I wasn't accepted right away because it was so different and it's so edgy. Plus, I played bass. I knew I had to start all over, start at the bottom.
There's a lot of great musicians, man, who play fast and play amazing range, amazing speed, and amazing technique, but you can't figure out who they are.
You know, singers, when they open their mouth up, you could tell within the first few phrases who it is. But instrumentalists, it's hard. It's hard on the saxophone, hard on a guitar, because there's so many of us. And to the non-trained ear, it all kind of blends in.
He said, man, what do you think I should do, man, to become a great musician? I said, see if you can get your personality to come through that music, you know, and get a style, man, that when people hear 3 notes, they go, oh, there's Tiz.
I was working on playing in the NBA, trying to win a championship, and trying to finish a record, and listening to record executives that had no clue that I had a day job. He said, hey man, we really need this song done. I said, well, I gotta play against Houston, and they have an African on their team named Hakeem Olajuwon that's really good. He's real good. And I wrote this little song about my little girl, and it was like a love song lullaby, and I've had over 50 people come to, I'm not lying, at least 50 to 100 people come tell me that they've named their kid after this song, and the name of the song is Gabrielle, so hope you like it.
You know, it was time for me now to take my chance at music. I always said, well, you guys will see me on the other side doing this music thing at a big-time level.
Now, he was able to take the bass guitar, which really is not typically a solo instrument. He was able to communicate on that instrument, not just the funky party songs, but he was able to communicate beautiful, heartfelt, gut-wrenching melodies on the bass, too. I mean, this is a 6'9" guy with a bass guitar making romantic music. I don't know if that's ever been done before.
right, go. All right, go.
Wayman's first album was called Power Forward, and his second, In the Zone, climbed to #3 on the jazz charts. His new album is titled Decisions, and he's hoping it will take his career to a new level.
It took about 5 records before we really hit pay dirt. And once we hit the radio airwaves, it just soared through the roof.
It's so funky. People gonna get real heavy off of this record.
I try to make records that make people want to listen to them over and over. You hear it once, you're gonna hear it again. You want to hear it over and over. Very edgy, very urban, very true to myself. I can't play anything. If I don't enjoy it, I'm not gonna play it.
You know that this next song is on it. You know the song. Give it up for Wayman Tisdale.
Music was absolutely at the core of his soul.
I can't even think of anyone who achieved the kind of sales that he did as a bass player. I mean, he was just completely able to break your heart with his melodies. He can get you out of your seats with his melody.
I'm not a preacher, but when everybody hears my music, they always say, man, you preach to me tonight, or your record ministers to me at night. My gift is to make you be able to listen, to get an emotion out of you and it's just gonna make you feel better, feel good inside, and that's me. I'm the happy music man. I'm the candy man.
He was telling me, man, hey, I'm getting ready to come. I'm going to be coming out to LA, and I'm driving everything out. You know, I'm in the car. I'm gone. You're driving everything out. I mean, like, we're Beverly Hillbillies. We are actually leaving, and we're like gone.
I was always that guy to go out to make this for real. I knew I would get to this day.
Comes out June 27th. I'm so way up over this record that I just need to come down.
When I learned, that you were also in the NBA for 12 years, it was like, can you take any more talent?
Well, yes.
The minute you came into his orbit, you became a friend. You became part of his family. It's almost like he was driving this big bus, and it was a party bus. It's just one great hang.
Now, 6 records later, they're saying, man, this guy is definitely for real.
Not only am I young, but I'm a musician, a real musician that's playing on big stages with everybody else. Hey, Wayman Tisdale career and musically, we just starting. And it happened to me.
Tulsa's Wayman Tisdale is an Oklahoma sports legend. He's also a patient who's been battling cancer for 2 years.
I'm back home. Thank you for sending me all your love, your prayers, your well wishes. The flowers have been beautiful. I'm home. I'm doing great. Tell everybody you see that I'm doing great.
The toughest thing right now is waking up to this every day. Every day it hits you. Boom. It's like, it's not a dream. It's every day. I can't just get up out the bed like everybody else.
I've always been the one encouraging people to get through their situation. Now was my time to encourage myself. As tough as it was, I mean, it's very tough. The biggest thing that got me through, other than prayers and my wife and family getting with me, was music. A lot of times I can tell before I go back to the doctor, I get in the studio, and I spend 7, 8 hours today and 7, 8 hours the next day, and I'm really into my zone, and I'm really in there playing. And I said, tomorrow, you know what? My blood results are gonna be incredible. Watch this. Getting it done, man. Look at you.
You been in the studio working?
I've been working. I think I finished like 2 records doing the whole thing, through all this chemo, through 2 rounds of chemo, through an amputation. I worked through the whole thing. It was just a way of me getting through.
I was working out in my gym out here in the back one day, and I heard this old Barry White song, and I could just hear Wayman playing bass over the top of it. And we went to his studio and cut the thing, and I've got my first jazz record out there.
How good is he?
He's fantastic.
Are y'all ready for this? Yeah! Well, sing, sucker! You won't know what to do. Step in it, you step in it.
Music is amazing. It's amazing. It's healing. It penetrates the soul, man. If I can rebound through what I'm going through, I want to give somebody else that same courage that they can rebound through what they're going through. My mother, I just love her to death, she's like, well, you know, as bad as it seems, it could have been in your arms where you couldn't play anymore.
Celebrating the release of his 8th CD, talking about Rebound. The big power 40 standing at 10'10".
You know, I've had a few bumps in the road, but hey, I'm here today and happy about it, man.
You're looking good, man.
Thanks, man.
Looking real good from one brother to another. I don't mind saying that, man.
This is something that happened. It's something I have to go through. It's something we will get through. And that's what I'm here to tell you. You can get through anything, and I'm here to encourage you. You can get through any and everything that you want to. Now let's play a little bit.
I would always go out and visit the hospitals, and I was always leaving that person on that hospital bed, and I was going back to being normal in life. But when those tables turned, that was a different story, because I was that person in that hospital bed. And for 8 weeks, I didn't know whether I was gonna live or die. At night, please don't you worry about the things that you're going through. Yeah, sometimes they're there on purpose, just to show you he can bring you through.
I did say you're in California.
Yes, you did. And now we see it over here. We're going to have a good party again, right?
Hold your head up, keep the faith.
Sometimes an anointing that will get on me will touch people, and they'll come up to me after the show and say, you played something tonight that really made me feel that I could go on, or made me feel that, you know, tonight was going to be my last night living. I was going to go home and commit suicide, and you played a song tonight that made me change my mind.
Glory, 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 glory. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Since I laid my burdens down, since I laid my burdens down. Glory, 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 glory. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Since I laid my burdens down, since I laid my burdens down.
No different than anything else. You're going to go through some things, use me as an example, and you're going to get there.
So everyone needs a little something an example to go by, don't you think?
It's alright, it's okay. Hold your head up, keep the faith. It's alright, it's okay. Don't worry, he'll make a way.
It just teaches us when we get to those places in our lives where it's difficult, perhaps we can draw strength from seeing how Wayman dealt with his situation. He dealt with it with courage and strength and faith and hope. And I think that's what we all have to learn. That's what we can take from it. The purpose is for all of us to see and learn from that. It's not in vain. The fight that he fought was not in vain.
Keep your head up. Keep your head up. Keep your head up. Da 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 da.
What this means to you to have this honor?
Man, this is awesome. When they told me about it, I was indeed honored that they would choose me, you know, and I feel so young to be getting such a great award. This is your hometown, and to be honored in your hometown, that really feels great.
2009 Legacy Award to Wayman Tisdale.
And when you think of the legacy, you know, I think of my father. I look at my father. So I was like, man, if I could only be like my father. You know, I just used to idolize him because I didn't idolize basketball players, or I didn't idolize other people. I just like watch him Sunday in and Sunday out have to take care of people's problems and make people happy even when it was tough times. And I would say, man, if I could only be like my dad. Since the 8th or 9th grade, since I fell in love with ball and music and everything, I don't know how to stop. But that's how you get ahead. When you love something, I don't feel like I worked a day in my life. And it's thanks to you guys who supported me through all these years and made my life so beautiful. And I'm just glad that I was able to make you happy. So thank you for this award.
As a human, you always want to know, okay, what kind of legacy can I leave? You know, and not can, but then will I actually leave? In my mind, I think of one thing, but what actually would it be?
That's the way I would like to be remembered, that I was just happy, and whenever I smiled at somebody, it made them happy. I just like to make people happy.
Tonight, we begin with the life of an Oklahoma hero.
As many of you know by now, basketball star and famed musician Wayman Tisdale passed away today at the age of 44.
When they said, you know, that he passed away, what?
You have so much that you try to live for, and then one day it can be shortened and taken away from you so quickly. It's like you can't go back and say, well, God, I wish I would have done this. And next thing you know, it's gone.
You know, I have a lot of people that I've lost personally. You know, being a musician, man, I've had, you know, people check out early. You know, it happens in the music life, man. But this one, man, was the hardest one to make any sense out of.
You just almost believe it can't happen. But you know it is, but you can't. And you know, I think a lot of people question whether he knew it, but he had to.
Get that thought, get that frame of mind. Keep it away from as far as away from you as you can, because that's the frame of mind that will not allow you to make it.
I think in the way that he stood and walked in this life, all 6'9" of him, showed us all how it can be in a perfect world.
Wayman's legacy is one that he loved people. He loved his God, he loved his family, he loved people. And seeing even his homegoing celebration, I mean, that's what you want life to be like. You want people to feel the way that they felt for Wayman at that time. And you want them to not be sad that they're not going to get a chance to see you again or talk to you, but inspire them to want to live a better life here so they can ensure that they will see you again. And that's why he's my hero.
I've seen a lot of performers in my time, my last 20 years of doing this professionally. I've seen a lot of shows. I've never seen anybody give the way he gave on that last show. The audience, whether they knew it consciously or not, they were witnessing something that on some level they knew they were never going to see again.
I was always taught as a kid, God did not give me the spirit of fear. He gave me the spirit of sound joy and conquer, and that I can make it through anything. I look at it as a bump in the road, man. Everybody's gonna have a bump in the road. It's just how you handle it.
And you're gonna be able to keep that famous Wayman Tisdale smile?
It will never leave me. That's something will never leave me.
Sorry you missed me. I'll get back with you as soon as I can. Thank you and God bless.
Got the news on Friday morning, but a tear I couldn't find. You showed me how I'm supposed to live, and now you showed me how to die. I was lost till Sunday morning. I woke up to face my fear. While writing you this goodbye song, I found a tear. I'm gonna miss that smile. I'm gonna miss you, my friend. Even though it hurts the way it ended up, I'd do it all again. So play it sweet in heaven, 'cause that's right where you wanna be. I'm not crying 'cause I feel so sorry for you. I'm crying for me. I got up and dialed your number, and your voice came on the line with that old familiar message I'd heard 1,000 times. It just said, sorry that I missed you. Leave a message and God bless. I know you think I'm crazy, but I had to hear your voice, I guess. I'm gonna miss that smile. I'm gonna miss you, my friend. Even though it hurts the way it ended up, I'll do it all again. So play it sweet in heaven, 'cause that's right where you wanna be. I'm not crying 'cause I feel so sorry for you. I'm crying for me. So play your upside down, left-handed, backwards bass guitar. I'll see you on the other side, superstar. I'm gonna miss that smile. I'm gonna miss you, my friend. Even though it hurts the way it ended up, I'd do it all again. So play it sweet in heaven, 'cause that's right where you wanna be. I'm not crying 'cause I feel so sorry for you. I'm crying for me. I'm still